Hello, I'm Stephen Bereznicki, and welcome to another Fossil Fighters Top 10 list. Today's list will be covering the top 10 water element Vivosaurs that should appear in a future Fossil Fighters game. For this list, we'll be covering Vivosaurs, from dinosaurs to reptiles to mammals, etc., that I think should be of the water element in a future Fossil Fighters game. Keep in mind that this means only the water element will be discussed, though rest assured I'll work on the other elements sometime later. We will also be excluding Vivosaurs that have already been discovered in previous games, including Fossil Fighters Frontier, as well as those already on other Vivosaur element list videos. And as such, only the ones that have not been in the games as of yet will be on this list. Alrighty then, let's get started. Number 10. Hesperornis. A flightless bird that was basically a prehistoric penguin, Hesperornis existed in the late Cretaceous period, toward the end of the reign of the dinosaurs. One of the crazy things about him though, besides its ridiculously short wing flippers, is that it both hunted and was hunted by fish, if not the more dangerous giant mosasaurs. It was doubtless a good swimmer, what with its ridiculously large feet. That's not even to mention its sharp beak, which one would do well to watch out for if Hesperornis was on the land. I can imagine Hesperornis with a moveset that can spell trouble if the opponent is not careful. I imagine a confused skill as well as a relatively high speed stat that can make it hard to hit. It could be offset by other stats and its LP being somewhat low, but if you team it with the right Vivosaurs, such might be trivial in comparison. Number 9. Sarcosuchus. Ah yes, the Bohr Crocodile. How could it not be on this list? Anyway, its design does look a lot cooler in Primeval than in real life. Not that the real animal isn't cool in its own right. This semi-tusked crocodile has been nicknamed the Bohr Croc for good reason. Its aforementioned teeth that resemble a boar's tusks. I imagine it having a moveset based on its namesake teeth like Tusked Tussle or Razorback Rage, something like that. A moderate speed style with moderate support effects can make it deadly with the right setup too, especially if it had the Link ability. A bit much? Maybe, but someone's gotta sharpen those tusks somehow. Well, you know what I mean. Anyway, whether or not this Pumbaa Gator goes by its primeval design in a new Fossil Fighters game, it would certainly make for a welcome addition to the franchise, especially if it came as a water Vivosaur. Number 8. Eustreptos pondylus. The name itself is quite a mouthful for a medium-sized predator that lived by the oceans of the Jurassic. For that reason, I think Eustreptos pondylus should come as a water Vivosaur. He could have poison skills akin to that of most water Vivosaurs, like if he threw seawater into an opponent's eyes or mouth. On the other hand, his name alone could cause confusion as to his pronunciation, at least until you get the hang of it. He may be equipped with support effects that could boost defense and speed but lower the other stats slightly. Very slightly. And what he might lack in mobility, he could make up for with killer accuracy. Unless Nintendo or Red Entertainment has better ideas for this creature. Number 7. Sarcosuchus. Arguably among the better known of prehistoric crocodilians, Sarcosuchus was definitely a candidate for this list, though Dinosuchus was initially a contender. Much like Vivosaurus in my previous Vivosaur list for the fire element, Sarcosuchus could be equipped with an ability that prevents opponents from landing critical hits while being able to land some crazy critical hits of its own, though this would probably come at the cost of speed. It could also have moderate attack and defense stats that might make up for its likely negative support effects, unless said support effects affects the opposing team's accuracy, as if it was hiding in the water. Dangerous? Most definitely, especially if it ends up in the wrong hands. You know what would make it even more dangerous? How about making it mid-range and giving it an unteamed skill attack, like the long-range Tanstro's giant wave skill? Number 6. Gastonia. Not sure if you guys are expecting an ankylosaur Vivosaur for this list, were you? Well, in case you were, here is Gastonia. Basically the porcupine of the Vivosaurs. It should definitely have the auto counter ability, which could prove to be such a pain in the neck, especially for fire Vivosaurs. Yep, I'm looking at you, Utahraptor.
When you pit Gastonia against Utahraptor, Utahraptor is much taller, but that's of no value when the little guy you're attacking has pincushions sticking out of his back.
It should definitely have moveset names based on its numerous body spikes, like Medieval Chainsaw, right? The only downside to Gastonia is that it could be a slow Vivosaur, but it can make up for it with its inherently high defense, as well as support effects that boost the accuracy greatly but lowers the speed stats somewhat, while leaving the other 2 stats alone. Sounds a little too specific, I grant you, but I think it would make sense. Number 5. Pterodaustro. Rather small, but cool in its own right, Pterodaustro could be one of those not-so-strong Vivosaurs with insane support effects, as if it was a dimorph of water Vivosaurs, increasing the attack and accuracy stats by 70 and 45% respectively, while decreasing the other 2 stats by 40. Granted, that's a little risky for beatdown tactics, but that's like how balance works, doesn't it? With teeth like those in its beak, or more appropriately outside of its beak, it should definitely have LP stealing skills and probably FP thievery too. Probably. I mean, this little guy feeds on plankton and other microorganisms, don't it? This Vivosaur would probably be one of those be careful who you make fun of in fossil fighters Vivosaurs, and one who isn't careful against this little Ptero dude could be in for a rather nasty surprise. Number 4. Anchiceratops. As far as I know, there aren't that many water ceratopids, and I felt Anchiceratops deserves to be included as a water Vivosaur. I mean, I love the National Geographic poster that includes a herd of Anchiceratops. No really, I have that poster too. Anyway, besides having the parting blow ability inherent to mostly horned Vivosaurs, Anchiceratops could have decent support effects which can increase all except the speed stat, but it could have a team skill that, besides inflicting damage, excites enemy Vivosaurs to mess up their strategy, provided of course it's teamed with other water or ceratopid Vivosaurs. Number 3. Helicoprion. A prehistoric shark with a crazy jaw design that is the size of a modern great white? Yes, please. Helicoprion is one of the weirdest prehistoric animals ever, I grant you, but it certainly is deadly just as much, especially for prehistoric squids. With that in mind, I imagine Helicoprion being equipped with a high critical hit ratio, and moveset names with reference to its crazy jaw design, like Bizarre Buzzsaw or Crazy Chainsaw. Like most overpowered Vivosaurs though, he shouldn't be without weaknesses, like if he had the elemental boost ability, which is just peachy against fire Vivosaurs, but can spell bad news for him when up against air Vivosaurs. Regardless, Helicoprion is doubtless fast, especially in the water. Hopefully, your favorite Vivosaurs are faster and stronger.
Any fish armed with a weapon like this has to rank very highly on the list of the deadliest river monsters ever.
Yes, sir, and it certainly ranks high on this list, too. Number 2. Liopleurodon. Did you seriously not consider Liopleurodon being on this list? Why not? Never mind. Anyway, sure, Crona can be considered a T-Rex of the sea, but Liopleurodon might be the Allosaurus of the sea. I mean, it was in the Jurassic period after all. On the surface it looks like a Crona with an elasmos teeth formation. Not as large, though still cool in my opinion. It could also be long-range like Crona. One notable difference could be its possible possession of actual support effects, albeit negative against the opponents. Perfect against Vivosaurs in close range. Maybe it could have the high critical hit ability for good measure, and perhaps combine it with the elemental boost ability. Before you take a dive with my top pick, here are some honorable mentions. And there are plenty of them, so please try to bear with me. Number 1. Megalodon. Was there any doubt, really? This king of sea beasts definitely takes the top spot of this list for more reasons than one. First reason? 2 words. The giant jaws. And this shark is nothing short of enormous.
This is a shark that was so enormous it could swallow a modern great white shark whole.
If you thought Dunkleosteus was terrifying, wait till this guy comes around in the water. This megajaws fed on prehistoric whales, who are almost as much super predators as was Megalodon, and pretty likely certain elephant relatives at risk going in where Giga Meg was swimming. To make this guy possibly more broken, it could inflict poison damage on the enemy, or even have a unique ability that negates the probable future skill that prevents critical hits and inflict criticals anyway. Yup, absolutely broken. It's a giant shark for crying out loud, and quite possibly the undisputed king of the 6 prehistoric seas.
Last I counted, there was 7. Even better.
Oh, right. Now, for our secret number 11, we have the Bereznicki, a predatory whale with teeth like that of a T-Rex that was a contemporary of the aforementioned Megalodon. It might just contend with Megalodon, especially if it aims its battering ram of a head in just the right spot. Sure, Basilosaurus is a pretty cool whale in its own right, what with it having a similar name like that of a dinosaur, but Bereznicki takes its spot for a good reason. Sorry, Basil. Do you agree with my picks? What other creatures do you think will make great water Vivosaurs? Feel free to comment on that below, and be sure to like and subscribe for more top 10s by Bereznicki and other fun videos too. Thanks for watching, see you next time.